Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Music and Moonsalts. I'm your host, Chris Bourdine, and joining me today, guy who was on a while back doing a WrestleMania draft, and now he's back again today. You can find him over at Fightful.com, writing great headlines about tree semen and stuff like that. Co-host of The Distraction, also on Fightful, and Mr. Jeremy Lambert. Jeremy, how's it going, sir?
I feel that was a good introduction, by the way, but you said doing the WrestleMania draft, winning the
Yes. Well,
WrestleMania draft
obviously.
is how it should be phrased there, Chris.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. No, you. Yeah, you won for sure. Uh,
Well, how are you, buddy?
I'm great. I'm great. I'm great. Thank you for doing this. So I actually hit up Jeremy a few months back, and originally, I was gonna use this episode as a not a scheme, incentive for people to subscribe to the channel, and I had a certain goal in mind. I didn't reach that goal, but I'm like, you know what? I want to talk to Jeremy anyway. That probably doesn't bode well for me, my parenting style. When I tell my son, my 1 year old, hey, if you behave in the store, I'll get you a toy, and then he doesn't behave, and I end up getting him the toy anyway. So that probably doesn't bode well for me. But what do you do?
You want to talk about my favorite subject as well, which is what the biggest thing here.
Yes, yes, yes. And it's funny, we've never had we're talking about the debut Taylor Swift album today, which, believe it or not, this month came out 15 years ago. Which doesn't seem possible, but you know,
She's had the staying power, that's for sure.
she sure has. uh and we haven't really talked about it. I've frankly been afraid to bring it up because I feel like our friendship is already, we got two strikes against us. Like, you're a Brett guy, I'm a Sean guy. The main point of contention, I'm a diehard Red Wings fan. You're a filthy Colorado Avalanche fan. Like, so I'm thinking, we already have two strikes. I probably shouldn't bring up my dislike for Taylor Swift. But I'm getting it out there today. I have long been, and actually, I figured it out. I think my problem with her has been two things.
Ooh,
Well, okay. So one great story I will say for the end. It's a very funny story on much to my chagrin, about a rib that was played on me on one of my birthdays. But so specifically, starting right from the jump here, this first album, I think for the longest time I just was so overexposed to her music because it was, when this album came out and like the first few years of her career, I was working at a grocery store, and the radio station they played at the grocery store played nothing, or played this one station out of Toledo, 101.5 The River, and it was like your generic easy listening stuff. So like a typical like 5 song block would be like Before He Cheats by Carrie Underwood, followed
good song.
by Billie Jean by Michael Jackson, followed by you know just random stuff like Good Riddance, Time of Your Life by Green Day. I think they played a lot. And then like Teardrops on My Guitar was a big one. And then another song on a later album that plays a part in the story. And then couple that with the fact that at the time, the girl I was with was a big country fan, and like not like I like 90s country, and she like 2000s country, so Jason Aldean. And if I never hear the song Honky Tonk Badonkadonk ever again, I will be more than happy. So just overexposure, I think, was my problem. And because to be honest, if like I like a lot of the stuff off like 1989, like a couple of the songs that she released on that album, I thought, okay, this is pretty good. But at that point, I was like, well, I'm not gonna admit this to anybody because they know my stance on Taylor. I can't go back on it now. But some of that like style, I think, was a really good song and stuff. So, but how about you? When did you become a certified Swiftie? Was it right
It
from the jump, or
was
was it
it
later?
was yeah, it was this album.
Okay.
It was Should Have Said No, which is like the fourth or fifth single. I think I admittedly not a huge fan of Teardrops on My Guitar. And that was like the first song that I really heard. I didn't hear too much of Tim McGraw, but like Teardrops on My Guitar, it was like the first song I heard, and I was like, this really isn't for me. Like I'm not a huge fan of this.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next couple of songs I think were like Our Song and Picture to Burn. Now I enjoyed those those songs, but Should Have Said No. It was a live performance at like the American Country
Mm-hmm.
Music Awards or something. I can't.
Right.
It was one of those award shows.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was a country music award show. My mom's a big country fan, so she was watching it,
Okay.
and I was watching that with her. First off, I found her very attractive, so that that helped. And then like the energy and the performance and the song, I was like, man, it's fucking good.
Yeah.
And so that was when I was really like, all right, let me go back, listen to stuff, and really try to get into it. And yeah, I thought it was great.
I will say, and we'll get into it more as we get into this, but you Should Have Said No. Giving it a fresh listen in preparation for this. That's a really good song, and it's the more this. I think it's the one that I like most because it's more. I wish there was like a mix of that song that took the banjo completely out, because if you take that banjo out, that's a really good rock song. And I think that was my other issue at the time, is this is before I was like open to the idea that there were other things other than hard rock music in the world that was okay to listen to. That didn't start till a little bit after this for me. I was definitely one of those, oh, if it doesn't rock, it sucks type people. So, but yeah, Taylor Swift album debut released October 4th, 2006. And we're only gonna we're covering the initial, the basic edition. We're not doing the deluxe. So there's 11 songs on the album, and she has sole writing credits on 3, and at least a partial writing credit on all the rest of the tracks. And that made her the first solo female country artist to write or co-write every song on a platinum debut album. So right out of the gate, she's like breaking records and stuff like that. It topped the country album charts for 24 weeks. And it's the longest charting album of any genre on the Billboard 200 of the 2000s, at 157 weeks. And then it spent a total of 275 weeks, extending all the way to November 2014. So, and the big reason why she blew up is she was like one of the first, especially in the country music space, to use social media. Like her MySpace was huge as far as getting her over with the younger audience, and bringing a younger audience to country music. So, and then last little thing, it debuted at number 19 on the Billboard 200. It peaked at number 5 all the way in January 19th, 2008. So 63 weeks after it was released, it hit its peak on the charts, which is just, it's crazy to think about. And it's 7 times platinum certified. So it's quite big.
I mean, she came out of the gate very, very strong. With this album, and like I don't pay too much attention to the numbers stuff. I know she was doing a tour with like Rascal Flatts at the time, and like Rascal Flatts was they were pretty
huge
big deal
at the time.
Yeah, and like she was opening for them, so like I'm sure that helped. Like I think she just she had the teen angst. It's kind of the same reason Olivia Rodrigo kind of hits big right now, is she appealed to a very like high school me. When I was listening to this, I was like, oh yeah, like she's going through heartbreak and stuff. I very much recognize these feelings and whatnot. And you mentioned like the social media aspect, like she's still very good at that, and utilizing MySpace and whatnot. So yeah, she came out of the gate of firing.
So then we get there's 5 singles off the album. The first one was Tim McGraw. It was released June 19th, 2006. As a song she wrote her freshman year of high school. She had a senior boyfriend at the time, and she kind of knew that he was going to go off to college and they were going to break up. And so she wrote the song, and as it says in the song, when you hear Tim McGraw, I hope you think of me, because they had specifically the song Can't Tell Me Nothing. that was one of her favorite Tim McGraw songs. And so yeah, hope when you hear the song, you think of me. So it's a nice little, like you said, it wasn't probably the, like, for me, it was especially, you know, it was kind of like the lead. It was like okay for a first single, but you know, as she got going with some of these other songs, she got a little more I don't know what I'm trying to say here, but she got going a little more. So that was one I didn't hear that one as much either, because that was definitely more of a country song than some of these others. What about you? You said you weren't quite a fan of this one when you first heard it yourself, right?
No, I like Tim McGraw. Tim McGraw was, again, that was the one I didn't hear much of. Teardrops on My Guitar was the one that I really heard a lot of at first. When I go back and listen to Tim McGraw, I love it. She performed it in Nashville as part of the Reputation tour, and like Tim McGraw came out and sang it with her, which was awesome. I love Tim McGraw's song, and I've had people, you know, the as you said, the line is, when you think of Tim McGraw, I hope you think of me. I have people, you know, say, when I think of Taylor Swift, I think of you. So I think I'm going to write a song called Taylor Swift, and just that shit. I'm just going to rip off all of the lyrics and just kind of change them to fit that mold, though. But I always think of that.
Sounds like a good cold open.
Yes. Yes, it might be something we'll have to do. But I always think of that when people are like, oh, I heard Taylor Swift today and I thought of you. I always think of the Tim McGraw song of like, oh, okay. Like, when you think of Taylor Swift, you think of me. I don't need anybody doing that, but the EP, but yes. People tell me that, and I love this song though. This is a song that I listen to a lot.
I got the T songs mixed up.
All good.
Yeah. So second was Teardrops on My Guitar, and yeah, this is February 19th, 2007. When this song came out, this was her first crossover hit. It peaked at number 13 on the Hot 100. And then right away, this is the first song that started sparking the debate of, is she really country? There's a good, cool documentary series on Netflix about pop music. I think it's called This Is Pop or something like that. And I binged it one day when I was sick, and there's an episode on country music and like the idea of like gatekeeping and like what's authentically country and what's not, and even though I'm not a huge country fan, I just found it fascinating because you go through, and it seems specifically like women artists, all the way back to Dolly Parton, but you know, Dolly, and then you fast forward into the 90s with Shania, and now here with Taylor. Like, this whole, as soon as any of these women start getting any kind of like crossover appeal, some of the old heads in the country industry are like, whoa, hold on here.
Yeah, that was the big debate, right? Of when she was country pop. Like that's the thing. She's country pop. And like, my response to that is like, Garth Brooks is country pop. That man ain't like full country. He was turning out some like pop bangers. And like, that's how I saw Taylor as well, is like, there's a little bit of pop twang to it, sure, but like, overall it is country. It just appeals to like a larger audience than the country audience. I don't think she's wrong in doing it. Again, Garth Brooks, I feel like, did this. I grew up on Garth Brooks.
So did I.
I see a lot of similarities.
That was my first real concert, was Garth Brooks.
Yeah, I see a lot of similarities between the two. So I understand that, like, and I've heard country fans even today was like, well, she was never country and everything. Like, I mean, sure, if you want to think that, sure. Like,
she definitely was. I think anyone who says that she never was country is just really hating on a level that I couldn't even reach, because she definitely was. Like, it's a ridiculous argument. So
I think it's incorrect as well. But I see why people would be like, oh, she's not country, and there's no code. The thing is, like, a lot of the country people still associate with her. Like, they view her as country. Sure, there are some who's like, oh, she's not country and stuff. Those are the people whose opinions don't matter, honestly.
Yeah, right. Third single, Our Song, September 10th, 2007. She wrote this for a high school talent show. And actually, like, I guess they weren't going to put it on the album, but she was like, no, we need to put this on the album because all my classmates really like this song. So, they put it on, and she was the youngest person at 18 to single-handedly, because she's the only writer on the song, to write and sing a number one single on the country songs chart. Again, just making history right out of the gate. Peaked at number 16 on the Hot 100 and won a couple CMT awards for the video. Video of the year and female video of the year. So
I love this song. Again, another song that I just listened to a lot.
Yeah.
I love Our Song. It's so like upbeat and fun.
Mm-hmm.
And this wasn't like, it should have said no that like really got me into it, but I heard Our Song a couple of times. I saw the video and everything. But yeah, this is another song that I'll just go back and listen to just all the time, and just I know the lyrics to it, and it's just a catchy song.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing, like all of her songs are just very catchy.
Oh, they will get in your head.
Yes.
They will get in your head for sure. Fourth single, Picture to Burn, February 3rd, 2008. Peaked at number 28 on the Hot 100. I didn't have a whole lot to say. It's just, another, it's like two kind of like scorned lover songs back to back here. I think this is the lesser of the two. As we've said, should have said no is superior to me, but it's a clever concept. I'm just going to burn all your pictures cause you done me wrong.
This is when The Edge came out though,
mm-hmm.
right? Because Tim McGraw is like kind of in love.
Mm-hmm.
Hope you're thinking of me when you hear Tim McGraw. Teardrops on my guitar, like kind of longing, sad. Like I want this person. Our Song, upbeat, happy. We're in a fun relationship. This is I wrote a song for us. This is like, you screwed me over and I'm destroying all of your stuff.
Right.
And
right.
like I did. So this was when you saw a different side of like, oh, she appeals to not only people who are like happy and like in their feelings and longing and stuff. She appeals to people who have been wronged as mm-hmm. well. So this is where you kind of get that range of like appealing to the feelings of teenagers and young adults.
This is like the adolescent teenage version, and I'm not saying that in a dismissive way. This is like the adolescent teenage version of Before He Cheats.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And look, I love Before He Cheats. Love that song. So I'm for it. But yes, it is very much like that.
And then the final single, we've talked about it quite a bit already, but I don't think enough can be said about it. This is, like I said, listening to it with fresh ears and especially with headphones on, I anytime I've heard it, it was like maybe in a car when people were talking or in that grocery store, and you can't really hear all the nuance. There's some really heavy guitars underneath. I love the chord progression of the song, and I wish there was like a banjo-less version, because I think that song would rock really hard. It was her second number one on the Hot Country Singles chart, peaked at number 33 on the Hot 100. And I honestly should have taken a cue from Taylor, because you should have said home. Yeah, if I could talk. You should have said no. You should have gone home. Should have thought twice before you let it all go. Should have known the word of what you did with her would get back to me. Like, damn. Like, I could draw an experience with that myself. And then I like, and like the Picture to Burn is more vengeful. This is more like, we could have made it, but you went and screwed it up.
Yeah.
And actually it was like last minute added to the album. Like they were getting ready to master and like print the booklets for the CDs and everything. And she's like, wait, I got one more song. And she recorded it. And then the bridge, I love it. I love the bridge. It's like where she says, I can't resist. Before you go, tell me this. Was it worth it? Was she worth this? I thought that's that was really good too.
Oh,
So
and then you get into the 100 no's. No, no,
yeah,
no.
yeah,
Yeah. Oh man. This is a banger
yeah.
for me. All right. Like Shake It Off has become my go-to karaoke song with Taylor. Before that, it was Should Have Said No.
Nice.
100%. Like this is my karaoke performance song.
I've
Right.
I've long wanted to start a cover band that takes like pop songs and, you know, rockifies them. And I like, after hearing this, I'm like, if I ever start that band, like this probably should be one, because it's already almost tailor made. Like I keep saying, like,
yeah,
it's a rockin' song. Like it's very rockin'. So
it's great.
Those are singles. I usually ask my guests. I can probably tell your answer already. Are there any songs that you skip when you're listening to this album?
I don't. So here's the thing. I don't like listen to albums anymore, especially when it comes to Taylor, who is my favorite artist. I just have like a full on like playlist of just all of her songs through all of her albums. It depends on my mood. I will skip Teardrops on my guitar.
Okay.
Every now and again.
Yeah.
That's kind of the only one. Sometimes Cold As You, but again, if my mood is like I'm feeling just kind of like down and depressed and I want something a little bit slower, I'll listen to both of them. So a lot of my music listening habits just goes to what I'm in the mood for. But if it's like a car ride and I'm just kind of trying to pick out, like just trying to listen to just like favorite tracks that I can like sing and kind of get into, then that's when I'll skip some of those stuff. Cause and yeah, I'm listening to her full discography with this stuff. So there's a lot of stuff that I want to sing and get into. And those songs just, they aren't it on a car ride.
Right. Yeah. Cold As You. I think that's a pretty sick burn though. I've never been anywhere as cold as you.
Like, oh no, it's good. Look, I love it's a great song. It's one that, again, if it just depends on same with like A Place in This World. That's one where I'm like, I gotta be kind of in the mood to listen to that. But everything else, I'll typically just listen to them. And usually if I'm just going on a casual car ride or whatever, I'll just listen to whatever gets thrown on. It's when I'm in the mood to, okay, I just want to hear my favorites that I can kind of car karaoke to. Right. Those are not my car karaoke songs.
Right. Yeah. Anything else about any like The Outside or Tied Together with a Smile, Stay Beautiful?
I love Tied Together with a Smile. I Stay Beautiful is one of my favorite songs. That's one where like I can kind of, it's not like super upbeat like a Should Have Said No like full on karaoke performance, but that's one that like I can really get into and sing along with. So I enjoy that song, and I like Mary's song as well. It's a nice little sweet song. I like every song on this album, just to varying degrees. There's no Teardrops on My Guitar legitimately is like one of my least favorite songs, just like in Taylor's entire discography. I don't even like fully dislike it. I'll listen to it. It's just like, oh, if that comes on, I'm probably gonna move on unless I'm just in the mood to cry a little bit.
Right. Yeah, Stay Beautiful, you can really hear like that the twang in her voice a little bit more on that song than you can some of the others. You know, Mary's song is it's like a movie I'm sure I've seen where, you know, the two kids, you know, grew up together, and wouldn't it be funny if they ended up, if your son and our daughter ended up being together, and they ended up being together. So, yeah, I mean, there's nothing that I, much to my dismay, there's nothing on here I'm like, I really hate this. It was, you know, like chances are I'll never go back and listen to the vast majority of these songs willingly ever again. But it wasn't like I was like, I didn't have a terrible time listening to the album through, and I listened to it through like, I don't know, 5 times in a row just so I could kind of get a feel for things. So yeah.
See, if I had listened, my listening habits are just, I just kind of stick to the artists that I like, but I don't listen to like full albums. I just have their entire playlist on I have like their entire discography on like one playlist, and then it's like, okay, what do I want to listen to? I'll skip and I'll find something that'll eventually hit me. And I do this with Taylor, I do this with Eminem, and then anybody else, I'll listen to like an album of stuff. But with these two particular artists, since they're my two favorites, it's just like I'm throwing everything into one playlist. So I wish I had a better answer on like, all right, if I listen to this album, what am I going to skip? I just don't listen to albums of hers like that.
Right. Yeah, I'm that way with Kiss. Like I have like a makeup era playlist and a non-makeup era playlist, and usually I'll just throw one of those on and listen to it, as opposed sometimes I'll like, oh, I need to hear this, I want to listen to this album all the way through, but for the most part it's like I'll just listen to this particular playlist for now and stuff like that. So is there anything else about this album that you would like to share?
This might be my least favorite Taylor album. It's not even like it's bad, it's just there's just so much more good in songs that like I'm really into compared to the songs that are on this album. So yeah, it's not a bad album by any means. There should have said no, one of my favorite tracks from her of all time, but like it legitimately might be my least favorite album from her, which I guess that's a compliment because I enjoy her stuff so much.
Right. Yeah. So, all right. Are you ready for my story?
Yes.
Okay.
Why are we going to fight, Chris?
Okay. So as I said, like she was on heavy rotation, right? I couldn't escape Taylor Swift. And it was like, oh, all right, you know, it's not my thing, but whatever. Then her second album comes out. She releases this little ditty, "You Belong with Me." I can't tell you why, Jeremy. I can't stand that song. That song gets on my nerves. Something fierce. Ow. Yes. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't know why. I just can't stand it. And every time I heard it, like I let it be known. And of course, this is one of the songs they played at the grocery store once it came out. All the time.
Very, very much played song.
And I that was part of the reason why I hated it so long. Like I probably heard it twice a day, every day for like 5 years. Like it was ridiculous. But anyways. So, it's Friday, September 18th, 2009. My birthday.
It's your birthday, yes.
And my buddy Matt, who you know was on the draft with us, he also worked at the same grocery store. He thought it would be a good idea to give my phone number to a bunch of random people and have them text me lyrics from "You Belong to Me" all day long on my birthday.
That rules. That is awesome. Like, I can understand why you like definitely dislike the song even more after that, but that's tremendous.
And so like it could have been even worse because it turns out like he only ended up it was people at work that I just didn't have their phone numbers. So to me it was random numbers, but it was actually people I knew.
Okay.
Apparently he tried putting my phone number on a wrestling message board.
Oh that could have been bad.
That could have been really bad.
Yeah.
They ended up taking it down, but so that plan backfired. So he had to go to plan B. But yeah, it was like constant like every 5 seconds my phone's going off, and I got a text message from some random number with like. She wears short skirts, I wear t-shirts. I'm like, God.
That is fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. "You Belong with Me" is the song I sang to Sean Ross Sapp in our car ride together. First time I met him. First time I met him in person. And obviously we talked online and stuff, but yeah, when we were in Winston-Salem for WrestleCade, we were on an adventure for a belt because this man did not have a belt. First day I ever met him, we're driving around Winston-Salem, going to different places looking for a belt, and it comes on in the car, and I start singing, and Sean looks over at me, and he doesn't know me this well. This is 2019. We done maybe like one show together. Like this was before I had the distraction. This was before I started doing the SmackDown review. We didn't know each other that well.
Right.
We just kind of knew each other from Skype chats and Twitter and stuff.
Right.
But I started singing and he looks over at me like, oh, you like actually like sing her songs in the car and stuff. I was like, yeah, that's not a joke. Like, I enjoy her music and singing her songs in the car. He was very, he was surprised, I think, that this was not like
not a bit
type thing and that I do it. Yes. And that this is actually who I was. And now he's learned that I will get up in front of dozens of people and sing Taylor Swift, and it's fine. I will do a full performance. But
right.
I think he was a little taken aback that I was just singing this song the first time we met in a car together.
That's awesome. That's great. So, well, Jeremy, thanks a lot, man, for making time to do this today. I really appreciate it. It was a lot of fun.
Of course, yes. Any Taylor Swift talk, I'm here for.
Sounds good. I don't know if I could bring myself to do this again, but maybe I will.
Oh, wow, just like that. Fair.
Nah, it is what it is. So,
well, I appreciate you having me. And again, any Taylor Swift talk, I'm here for. Next time you want to lose in a draft, you know where to find me on that as well.
I was gonna say I've had preliminary conversations with Joseph. The Starcade draft will happen.
I assume that's December. We're into a Starcade draft.
We'll talk after we stop recording about.
Okay.
I want to go traditional. I want to release it on Thanksgiving.
Okay.
So maybe sometime later this month or early November we'll try and get that recorded. But yeah. Anyways, so follow Jeremy at Jeremy Lambert 88 on Twitter. Fightful.com. If there's a headline to a story that makes you laugh, more than likely it was written, and the article itself was written by Jeremy Lambert. He's also, he does a lot of stuff with the Fightful Twitch, twitch.tv/Fightful Gaming. And then his show, The Distraction, Thursdays at 3 p.m. Eastern. And they have their own Patreon as well. LateNightGrin.com, right? That's the
I think
custom.
I don't know if it's the or if it's just late night. Yeah, it's late night. No just latenightgrin.com. Okay. Thank you.
All right, guys. Again, follow Jeremy, give him some love, and until next time, see ya.